How they handle the athleticism and the aggressiveness of the Cardinals.
Ohio State averaging more than 87 points per game for Thad Matta. Just 18 wins away now from passing Fred Taylor's the all-time winningest coach in Ohio State basketball history. Shannon Scott runs the show. It's a homecoming for one of the best freshmen in the country, D'Angelo Russell. He's from Louisville. Mark Loving, the only sophomore on their team, Sam Thompson and Amir Williams round out the starting five for Ohio State. Louisville 5-0, leading the nation in opponent three-point field goal percentage. Their opponent shooting 19% from three-point range. Terry Rozier and Chris Jones start with Harrell, Blackshear, and Onawaku. For Rick Pitino, in his last game, earned career win number 700, a victory last week over Cleveland State. Here's Allison Williams.
Their point guard, Shannon Scott, his play tonight will be pivotal. He leads the country with 10.4 assists per game. Now he has to really become the leader of this team. Thad Matta told him, this is your year, this is your team. In the past, he's played in the shadow of Aaron Craft, but he has to step up, become more vocal on the floor. It's not necessarily in his personality, but he has to force it as he's their first true road test of the season.
The first road game for Ohio State. Their 5 wins all at home. Their most impressive victory against Marquette. There's a three that's short from D'Angelo Russell, the left-handed freshman. He's the third leading true freshman scorer in the country right now, and leading for the season for Ohio State at 18 points per game. Off the turnover. The push, and the shot wouldn't fall for Rozier.
The Bears here turnover and offensive rebound. Keys to the game.
Chris Jones, long of the corner three. Even though they're 5-0, Louisville has really struggled to shoot the ball, both inside the arc and beyond the arc. And Rick Pitino admits that's troubling to him. He's worried about it going forward after losing Russ Smith and Luke Hancock off last year's team.
Well, it's early. It's early. Most shooters don't shoot well in December anyways.
Scott, long. Rebound down to Chris Jones, senior from Memphis, Tennessee. Long three. Would not go for Harrell.
That's a part of his game. He's trying to expand. He didn't shoot a lot of threes last year. That's his 11th three this year taken already.
Said he came back for another year of college basketball, in part because he wanted to improve from beyond the arc, improve from 15 feet, and become a much better free throw shooter. He shot under 50% from the line last year. Three from the corner, pops in and out for Sam Thompson.
In a game like this, both teams are a little nervous, feeling each other out.
Nice move underneath the basket. Chinanu Onuaku, freshman from Lanham, Maryland, the brother of the former Syracuse center, Rinzi Onuaku. And a dunk missed underneath by Amir Williams. Louisville tried to counterattack, and as Chris Jones went to throw the pass ahead, the ball slipped out of his hands.
I like the aggressive snow. Attack the press to score.
And Russell has the first bucket of the night for Ohio State. Freshman from Louisville, but he played his last 3 years of high school ball at Montford Academy in Florida, in one of the best high school programs in the country. And he said he's really spent very little time in Louisville over the last several years, just a couple of weeks a year here at home, but has a lot of friends and relatives here tonight. Lob, and Harrell threw it right into the basket. And I believe there's a foul as well called by Michael Stevens. Brian Dorsey and Carl Hess, the other officials. It was intended to be a lob for Wayne Blackshear, and I couldn't tell if he touched it or if it just went straight into the hoop. Well, he did touch it.
It's a great pass by Harrell. Big man showing some touch.
Sam Thompson called for the foul. And Louisville off to a 5-2 lead. They bring the pressure. Louisville averaging 11 steals per game has been their trademark, one of them under Rick Pitino. That's 6th in the nation. They're 10th in the nation in turnover margin, plus 6.8 turnovers per game. They turn defense into offense, and they've needed to this year with those poor shooting numbers we talked about. Rozier thought about a three. Blackshear shoots a three. Harrell, the offensive rebound, he got fouled.
Number one thing, when the shot goes up, find Harrell. You got to put a body on him. This guy is maybe one of the premier offensive rebounders in the country. You have to put a body on him.
Well, as you said at the outset, Ohio State has not been as good a defensive rebounding team, according to metrics, as those who pay attention to it would like them to be. Loving called for the foul, his first and the team's second. Harrell up to 67% for the year from the free throw line. That's up from 46.4 last season. Unlucky there. That one looked good and popped out to Amir Williams. And he threw it away. Rifled it too hot to handle for Mark Loving.
D'Angelo Russell has played with exceptional poise for a freshman. Most freshmen in the first 3 games play sped up, but he's got a 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio, playing very under control.
And a kick ball as Ohio State brought some pressure in the backcourt. Rick Pitino said that's what impressed him the most, watching the tape of the 5 Ohio State games about D'Angelo Russell, was just the poise with which he's played from the very start of his college career. Trouble in the backcourt. They finally got it over to Onuaku. Jones probed the defense and turned it over. Sam Thompson saw it coming and got in the passing lane. Russell, a beautiful pass, and then it's blocked underneath by Onuaku. And then a strip. Good hands underneath the bucket by Rozier. Blackshear saved it along the sideline and had it ripped away by Amir Williams. Great play. Shannon Scott, senior, lost it and then got it back as Harrell had it slip out of his hands. Shot clock never reset. 10 to shoot for Ohio State. Long three. Wouldn't drop for Russell. Chris Jones the rebound. Lob for Harrell from Blackshear. Trying to return the favor. Combination that worked well in reverse earlier in the first 4.5 minutes of this game. Onuaku averaging 3 blocks per game. He's 17th in the country in that category. He was not very loyal to his new conference. When we walked into his office about an hour and a half before the game, he had on the Minnesota Wake Forest game and was openly cheering for Minnesota. Of course, that's understandable. His son Richard is the coach of Minnesota, and they beat Wake Forest earlier tonight.
What happened to conference loyalty?
He said he hasn't been in the league long enough. Foul called. Carl Hess with the call. Onuaku thought he had his second clean block of the night, but instead the freshman got called for the foul.
That was a pretty good play. Pretty vertical play. Got him with the follow through.
Crowd didn't like it. They saw the same replay we saw. Sam Thompson made the free throw.
Reminds me of Billis a little bit. That athletic play right there. Onuaku. In his younger days. The speed, the athleticism.
You have a much better memory than I.
We're still trying to replace him.
Jay ever being athletic. You mean at Duke? They're still trying to replace him? But I know here in this booth, we are happy that we have replaced him with a serious Duke upgrade.
7 turnovers in this game so far. A sign of early nerves.
And Ohio State, as they have throughout this early season, playing zone. They haven't played much zone in recent years. As Thad Matta said, they had Aaron Kraft, one of the best man-to-man defenders in the country. on their team. They wanted to take advantage of his talents, and it worked well. Rozier way off with the three, but Montrezl Harrell on the weak side to put it back up and in.
That's been their best offense this year. Throw it up, go get it.
And a foul as Amir Williams went up to the bucket, and he'll shoot two.
Shot goes up. I know he's big and strong. He's intimidating. But you got to put your keister on him. Am I allowed to say keister?
You are. It's borderline, but we'll let it go, especially a later start here, 9:30 local time. Amir Williams missed the free throw.
I like what Ohio State's doing. They're attacking the press. That is the one thing pressing teams dislike, is when you're aggressive to the basket against their press. Use their aggressiveness against them.
2 fouls on Onuaku, so he's gone to the bench. Mango Mathiang with the ball now, his replacement. 6'10" sophomore, was a starter, figured to be, but Onuaku's done a nice job. He's been a pleasant surprise as a freshman for Rick Pitino.
Let's see if Louisville's going to shot in the paint.
They get an open three, and it's good for Chris Jones. His shot just 30% for the year from three.
Great things happen when you penetrate a zone and you make a play inside the paint.
Thompson short with a three out of the corner. Jones the push, but it's 1 against 2, so he brings it back out. And a whistle away from the ball for a moving screen against Mathiang.
Both teams fairly deep this year. Both coaches talked about the importance of depth, and both will go 10, 11 deep on their roster.
Very interesting blend on the roster for Ohio State. They have one sophomore, Mark Loving. Everybody else, and Scott threw it away to Rozier, who's fouled by Russell, trying to prevent a breakaway. Every other player on the team other than Loving for Ohio State is a senior, whether that's 5th-year senior or 4th-year senior or a freshman.
Well, the importance of having seniors is they impress upon the young players, hey, this is my last go-around. This is it for me. Let's make it count.
And good things expected from Ohio State. They were picked 3rd in the Big Ten preseason media poll behind Wisconsin. Final 4 team a year ago with just about everybody back, and number 2 in the rankings right now. And Michigan State picked 2nd in that poll. Jones short of the long 2. Here's a run out for the Buckeyes, and the dunk was missed by Cam Williams. And the 3 rattled home by Wayne Blackshear.
5-point swing. If you want to beat the Cardinals in the Yum Center, you got to make those plays.
6 points for Blackshear, the old-fashioned 3-point play. Now a 3 from beyond the arc. Jones called for the foul. His first.
He had the dunk. I know it was contested, but if you lay it up, you create a fast break opportunity for Louisville. Wayne Blackshear with the 3. 5-point swing. Let's see how this young Ohio State team responds to an early 8-point deficit.
Lee rolled to the bucket. Anthony Lee off the bench. First and only year at Ohio State. He graduated from Temple. Had a year of eligibility left and came to Ohio State to play it. Harrell short with a little jump hook. It got ripped away. And then bodies collide in the backcourt. Nice play by Jayshawn Tate off the bench to rip the ball away. And then the foul is against Ohio State.
There's been 3 or 4 missed layups already. That is a causation of not playing length in your first 4 or 5 games. All of a sudden, Louisville, athletic, long, it's a different ball game.
Mango Mathiang called for the foul for Louisville, his second. So 2 big men in foul difficulty early for the U of L, Onawaku and Mafiang. So Honest Mahmoud, another 7-footer, is in the game, number 14, holding his ground. Good defense on Jayshawn Tate by the Egyptian Mahmoud. 7 feet, 200 pounds. Harrell off a nice pass by Terry Rozier.
Great look. Great look.
Timeout Ohio State with Louisville leading by 10, 8 minutes in. Ohio State 15-5 trying to get the ACC its first win in this ACC Big Ten Challenge presented by Dick's Sporting Goods.
This is where Louisville's really dangerous. They amp the pressure, forcing Ohio State to make something happen. Ohio State needs a quality shot right here. Stop the run.
Yeah, that's what Thad Matta said this morning. It's one of the keys to the game. To deal with the Louisville runs, and Cam Williams helps them do that as he hits a 3. Redshirt freshman from Baltimore, averaging 7 points per game off the bench for Coach Matta.
A shot like that just steadies the team. Tells them, hey, we're in this. Let's just play our game.
Quentin Snyder's in with the ball now for Louisville, number 2, freshman from right here in Louisville, Ballard High School. Snyder, nice move, and then it got swatted away by Jayshawn Tate. And that takes us to a media timeout. The Governor's Trophy, which they earned in their win over the weekend against the University of Kentucky.
I think Montrezl Harrell would make a pretty good defensive end. How about you?
I'm sure Bobby Petrino would like to have him. 9-3 for Louisville in their first year in the ACC, getting ready for a bowl game. Their bowl assignment still to be determined. Michael Stevens rather animatedly trying to get the attention of players on both sides of this game.
I wouldn't mind Anas Mahmoud as my designated field goal blocker. How come they've never put a 7-footer on an NFL roster or college roster?
Just to block a kick?
Why not? Save some points.
Harrell plays it in. He is an intimidating presence. Rick Pitino says he is the leader of this team, and he does it largely through intimidation. He said the other players are scared to death of him. They play hard because he makes sure they do. Blackshear. Rozier.
It's an awfully small team for Ohio State right now.
Snyder's open for 3. Out of the corner, Quentin Snyder. Just the second 3 of his freshman season. He averages under 2 points per game in about 12.5 minutes off the Louisville bench.
Again, the second shot leads to danger for the Buckeyes.
And Williams passed it into the corner and got it back from D'Angelo Russell. Tough shot by Williams, floating to his right. And a foul in the backcourt. It's on Jayshawn Tate, freshman from Pickerington, Ohio, not far from Columbus. His first foul.
Just seems that the Buckeyes are rushing their offense. And they're just shooting to shoot instead of trying to work for a quality shot. You cannot take quick contested shots against this Cardinal defense. They're just too long and too athletic.
One of the reasons Thad Matta wants to play zone this year is he does have a lot of length up and down his roster. Snyder feeling it short with that 3 ball, poked out by Harrell, but collected by D'Angelo Russell. Offensive rebound by Lee, and then Mahmoud came over and blocked it. Snyder got knocked to the deck. And another Ohio State foul.
I still like the aggressiveness of Ohio State. They're attacking the cup. They're not allowing the shot blockers to intimidate them. There's no such thing as a bad shot at the rim.
2 fouls on Russell. 5 team fouls. So D'Angelo, the leading scorer for the season for Ohio State. McDonald's All-American last year in high school. He has come out of the game. Snyder picked up his dribble in the backcourt. They just do get it over with about a second to spare. Anton Gill's in the game for Louisville, number 1. Snyder lost it and got it back. Rozier long with the corner jumper. Mahmoud. Offensive rebound. Rozier couldn't score with the putback either. Tate the other way. Lee went rolling to the basket, wanted the ball, but they double-teamed Tate, nearly took it away, and it's out of bounds off the leg of Mahmoud.
One of the trademark Rick Pitino coach teams, deflections. Deflections is something they track. A lot of teams track them, but one of the hallmarks of Rick Pitino's Hall of Fame career.
One of 5 active college coaches in the Basketball Hall of Fame. He was inducted last year. With Rick earning his 700th win in their last game against Cleveland State. There are 4 active coaches in the ACC with 700 wins or more. And it's the first time in the history of college basketball one conference has had 4 coaches with 700 wins. Coach K, Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim, the others in the ACC.
It's going to be a fun year in the ACC. I can't wait to see these Cardinals play against Tar Heels and the Orange and the Blue Devils.
In some ways, it'll be a Big East reunion for Rick Pitino. Amir Williams called for the offensive foul. Of course, Coach K setting the standard, just 10 wins away from the first to 1,000 in Division I college basketball among the men.
This is the first time we've seen extended action from Mahmoud. He was 6'4", grew 7 inches, 7 feet, so he's got the skills of a guard.
Amir Williams called for another quick foul, his second. Mahmoud from Cairo, played 1 year in Orlando, Florida, West Oaks Academy. Young man who speaks 4 languages, and Rick Pitino thinks when he adds another 20 pounds of muscle onto that frame, he's really going to be an effective player at this level.
Envision him as a sort of stretch 4. His amazing touch. Sort of like a Kevin Durant type that grew 6-7 inches in a year, but kept the guard skills. Just a nice thing to have in your back pocket.
Blackshear off to a nice start. Senior from Chicago. Highly touted out of Morgan Park High School. Averaged 32 points per game, was a McDonald's All-American, has never quite lived up to the hype as a college player, but Rick Pitino said this year he's been their second best player after Harrell. Mark Loving. Sam Thompson, tough shot. Jayshawn Tate on the offensive glass.
This is the change for Ohio State. They came into this game second in the country in effective field goal percentage. And they've had a tough time buying a shot thus far.
And for those who don't understand the significance of effective field goal percentage, how's that different from regular field goal percentage?
Well, you take in account the value of a three-point shot. It's worth 1.5 times, like that one. It's worth 1.5 times what a normal field goal, two-point field goal would be.
Well, effective scoring from beyond the arc for Chris Jones. He has 6. And the Buckeyes turn it over again. A lot of freshmen. First road game for Ohio State against one of the great defensive teams in the country. And Florida State would have remained intact. But TCU is now number 3.
That's a dangerous game for Florida State this weekend.
Yeah, Georgia Tech.
Not bad, underrated.
Very well all season long. And Florida State apparently not impressing the committee by just squeaking by, but they're all wins for the last couple of years. Blackshear for 3 out of the corner. There's been great action on the glass. Both teams really going after it. And Harrell still ahead of the play. He never got back on defense because he was on the floor.
That is how you finish, Sean.
It has to be frustrating, Shane, for Thad Matta. I mean, it was 5-on-4 for Ohio State as they went into the front court because Harrell was down in the court behind the play, and they still turned it over when they had a man advantage.
Those are the things you just can't do on the road. Expect to win.
Great atmosphere here tonight. It's the 5th year in the building. Thompson fouled at the rim. He wanted to throw it down. Harrell thought it was clean, but Brian Dorsey didn't agree. How about what Rick Pitino said the other day? He anticipated that tonight's atmosphere would be the best in the 5-year history of this building. There's Harrell just getting up as Ohio State turned it over and led to an easy dunk for him. And that might have been a little jab. Well, they've played Kentucky in here a couple of times. Rick Pitino said, yeah, but the atmosphere is not great because there's about 5,000 people in blue. We'll have everybody cheering for us tonight against the undefeated, big-name, non-conference opponent in Ohio State.
There's nothing wrong with little gamesmanship, but you can't just tell between the Ohio State fans and the Louisville fans. They're all wearing red.
I think they're almost all Louisville fans.
Yeah.
Buckeyes did fly down. You could drive down here about 3.5, 4 hours from Columbus. But they did fly down this morning.
This is a good Louisville team that I think the fans of the Cardinals know that if they can get some production from the young guys, they're going to be a handful in the ACC.
Mahmoud, great work on the offensive glass, leads to a 3 for Rozier that missed. Louisville entering tonight 24% from three-point land, way below the mark they usually post. Trey McDonald inside, great hands, was knocked away by Blackshear. Jones, Blackshear hustles and cleans up the miss.
What we talked about in the opening, turnovers and offensive rebounds. Ohio State's not doing a very good job on either of these departments.
Yeah, Russell, sloppy turnover again, and it leads to a foul on Loving, no basket. This is really the worst nightmare for Thad Matta. He knew it would be tough. A lot of freshmen playing their first road game against a team that attacks you on defense like this, but I think this is tougher than he anticipated. Allison?
Well, a lot of things going right for Louisville right now, but you guys will remember before the game, Rick Pitino told us that his hope was that better passing would lead to better shots. That seems to be the case so far. I talked to assistant coach Mike Bellato briefly, and he said they are moving the ball, they are being patient and taking the time to get the shot they want. That's why they've been so effective on the offensive end.
Foul on Loving was his second. Ohio State's over the limit.
Well, if you're Ohio State, you just want to go on a little 8-0, 6-2 run, get some positive momentum going into halftime. Find something to feel good about the second half up here.
And how do they do that? It would seem job one is just hang on to the ball. They're starting to turn it over with regularity now against this Louisville defense.
That's a great start. And Louisville is amped up. They're in their face. But you have to keep putting pressure, keep attacking the rim if you're Ohio State. You can't just settle for jump shots.
9 turnovers already. Russell, very tough shot, way off.
Shots like that do not get you back into a game.
And they did not hit the rim with that shot, so the shot clock is down to 5. Russell doing it all by himself. Threw up another air ball that was snatched out of the air by Rozier.
D'Angelo's a great player. He's going to be a fantastic player in the Big Ten this year. In a game like this, when you're playing a top 10 team, you have to do it together. You can't do it by yourself. Unless your name is LeBron or Kevin Durant or Shane Battier. Yeah.
Rozier, long 3. Mahmoud again on the offensive glass. Couldn't put it back up and in. And then the foul on Quentin Snyder's. Jayshawn Tate hit the deck.
If I'm one of the big guys at Ohio State, I tell my guards, hey, I'm going to keep the big guys off the boards. I need you to come in and scoop up all the loose balls. That's how you combat an excellent offensive rebounding team. It has to be a team effort. It has to be 5 guys on the glass. It sounds like an old school cliche from a coach, but you have to put 5 guys in the paint to grab the defensive board.
Foul put Louisville over the limit. Well, Russell misses the front end of a 1-and-1. McDonald got his hands on the rebound, but it's Ripped away by Montrezl Harrell. Well, there are some impressive numbers on both sides through the first 5 games, admittedly against weaker competition. The defensive numbers for Louisville, the offensive numbers for Ohio State. And Rick Pitino said, I think we'll find out tonight if these numbers are real. And in the case of Ohio State, the 56.7 field goal percentage for the year coming in, number 2 in the nation, might be a product of playing against teams that don't defend anything like what we're seeing tonight. Thompson buries a 3. He has 5.
Well, normally early in the season, defenses are ahead of offenses. Offenses are predicated on timing and rhythm, and defense is predicated on playing hard and flying around. But they shot the ball very, very well at Ohio State, so this has to be a little bit of a shock that they can't shoot like they have in the previous 5 games.
Jones, Snyder. Blackshear gave it back to Snyder. 9 to shoot. 3 minutes in the half. Louisville dominating. Harrell called for an offensive foul. We're using the free arm as he worked along the baseline. Second foul on the preseason All-American. Montrez. Sonics journey to the tourney. 14th ranked Ohio State with just 13 points with under 3 minutes to go in the half. Their season low first half point total through the first 5 games is 33 against Marquette. And that was their best opponent they played prior to tonight. Blackshear another rebound. He's had a huge first half. Matter of fact, that 11-point win against Marquette was the closest game Ohio State's played this year. Blackshear another 3 for Louisville. He has 13 points. Wayne Blackshear.
Ohio State does a great job of limiting interior passing, but that leaves you susceptible to the 3-point shot. You got to get out and find those shooters. Get a hand in their face.
Russell loving Scott Thompson McDonald trying to get something going for the Buckeyes before the half.
I guess the defense like Louisville, you want to go north and south versus east and west. East and west doesn't do much. You want to penetrate, go north and south, make them really shift.
Russell. It popped out. Nice rebound by Rozier, just 6'1". But he can elevate. Russell tries to counterattack. All the way to the bucket, and he was fouled.
Nice finish. Nice finish. Attacking the shot blocker. Nice finish. This may be their best offense right now. Once they get in the half-court set, just tough against the length. They get the rebound, they create a turnover, get out, attack the paint, spray the 3-point shooters. That's how you get in this game.
Anas Mahmoud, the foul.
I like this Mahmoud kid. I like him. I like him.
What do you like most?
He's got a good touch, and you know, I don't know how many pickup games in the streets of Cairo he was playing, but he's got pretty good feel for the game. And he's been in America for a few years, but he's an intriguing process. It kind of reminds me of Sean Bradley a little bit.
His family wanted him to come to America. His family's been very close to a lot of the problems in Egypt. Blackshear. Wow, what a half. 16 points for Blackshear. He averages 11 per game.
He's feeling it. He's feeling it. That's good to see. You know, Blackshear's been a hard worker, a good kid, great kid. Put a lot of criticism over the years. It's nice to see the light bulb start to go on for him this year.
Crowd really involved. Scott fired an air ball, and then Ohio State couldn't control the rebound. What was interesting, Rick Pitino, after last season, said, my players improve significantly. Wayne Blackshear might be the only player I've coached who has not improved at all in 3 years. And Rick said that on purpose to try to inspire the young man to really get serious in the offseason about working on all facets of his game and his body. And he said Blackshear did. He usually goes home to Chicago in the summer. This summer he stayed here in Louisville, worked hard on his game, and he's clearly a much better player.
Well, look, everybody's progression is different in this game. At different points in your career, something clicks and you say, aha, That's it. That's it. For Wayne Blackshear, maybe the pressure expectation got to him. But now it's his senior year. This is his team. He's the guy, and he's ready to assume that responsibility. And it's fun to watch.
Rick Pitino said he's a great person. On a scale of 10, as the kind of player you'd like to coach, he's an 11. But occasionally needs to be pushed to do everything that he needs to be a great player. Eight-second difference between the game clock and shot clock, so Ohio State should get it back. .15 to shoot. 3-second violation. Jalen Johnson and Anas Mahmoud were both near the lane. Not sure who they called it on. Rick Pitino trying to hustle Anton Gill back into the game.
That's the oldest trick in the book, Sean. Intentionally get 3 seconds, make your guards throw you the ball. He's learning quickly.
You stand in there long enough, somebody's going to throw it to you.
He's learning quickly. I like it. Now let's see if we can get something going to the basket.
Right now they're just trying to get it over half court. They do to Loving, where they don't use the clock. Loving scores, but they leave plenty of time for Louisville here. 6 seconds to go. Jones, tough shot, short. Ohio State had been so impressive on offense through the first 5 games. Louisville great on defense, and defense won out in that first half. Louisville allowed only 6 made field goals in the half.
Well, there's a good reason why they're #1 in the country.
Ohio State shot 23% in the half. Here's Allison.
Coach, what did you do well defensively in the first half to hold Ohio State to just 18 points?
We're playing a lot of combination defenses that's confusing them what to run a little bit. But we also did a very poor job until late in the game of running our offense. Finally did a lot of good things. We're trying to turn on the crowd. All we got to do is stay fundamental. Lobs from half court, all those things really hurt a pressing team.
What did you start to do better offensively as the game went on?
Well, anytime you work inside to out or get dribble penetration, Anas did a very good job of offensive rebounding and throwing it out. This shocked the hell out of me the way he's playing.
Good.
Along the banks of the Ohio River, Louisville dominated the first half. #5 team in the country, leading #14 Ohio State 35-18. Sean McDonough, Shane Battier rejoined in a moment by Allison Williams. And Shane, we talked at the top of the telecast, both teams 5-0. Louisville had done it on defense, Ohio State largely on offense. Wondered if the numbers might be fraudulent. Right now, that Ohio State 57% shooting percentage for the year looks a little fraudulent against this Louisville defense.
Well, the Louisville Cardinals are only allowing 33% against them. And this is why. They're long, they're active, and they play hard. They give you no free looks. Every shot that the Buckeyes are taking is contested. Ohio State needs to settle down and get some open looks. The aggressiveness isn't bad, attacking the paint, but they have to understand who they're going against in the shot blocking force of the Cardinals.
Louisville ball to begin the second half. Terry Rozier, Montrezl Harrell, and now Chris Jones. Up there with Wayne Blackshear and Chinanu Onuaku. Blackshear the star of the first half with 16 points. His career high is 23. Kickball. And we check in with Allison Williams.
Well, guys, I talked to Thad Matta at the half, and I asked him about that low shooting percentage. And he did say Louisville's length has given them some problems. But honestly, they just need some guys to step up and make shots, and they need to get more ball movement. He said 2 assists, that's unacceptable. That's not us. He told his guys at the half, look, we're going to make a big adjustment in the second half. We're actually going to run our offense.
That's a novel idea.
Yeah.
Might work.
They didn't run much of anything. Wasted anything that worked in the first half.
Louisville does a great job of moving the basketball. Every player gets a touch on every possession. As an offensive player, it makes you feel part of the offense. And guess what? When you get that shot, they go down a lot easier.
Louisville came into this game with a negative assist to turnover ratio, more turnovers for the year than assists. In the first half, Louisville had 9 assists, 7 turnovers. They just turned it over for the 8th time tonight. D'Angelo Russell to Mark Loving, whose shot puts one up there. Good position on the offensive glass from Amir Williams, but he couldn't score. The lob for Harrell from Rozier. Shannon Scott in a tough spot, double teamed by 2 long defenders, and a timeout called by Ohio State.
We turn it over against Louisville. They get out the break. Very few finishers better than Montrezl Harrell.
Because footlongs are the limousines of hot dogs. We're celebrating.
Wisconsin, Duke, high scoring. To this point in the year, Wisconsin, one of the best in the country in scoring defense. Some of the best players in the country on display. Louisville trying to earn the first win of this challenge for the ACC. The Big Ten leads 5-0. Loving the miss.
See, Louisville did just a great job of keeping Ohio State on the perimeter. Ohio State needs to penetrate the three-point line, make Louisville move from side to side. And that's what Louisville is doing a much better job on the other end for them.
Penetrating was Rozier, but then he got stripped as he moved down the lane. Tough play by Russell. Nobody along with him. And now it's a turnover fest. Shannon Scott got it back for the Bucks. Loving got on Owaku in the air. Man was fouled. And that'll be the 3rd personal on Chinanu Owaku.
One of the best ways to get into a game when you're down is to get to the charity stripe. Ohio State, that's not their strength. They come into this game in the bottom 3rd in the NCAA and drawing fouls, because one of the reasons they shot the ball so well early. But get to that charity stripe, get some easy ones, set up your defense on the other end.
Loving missed the first. Anas Mahmoud has come in for Owaku, who sits with the 3 fouls.
See, you get to set up your defense now. You catch a breather. Now make Louisville work for a basket here.
Good ball movement led to an open 3 for Blackshear. Shannon Scott the other way. Clearly the man running the show now for Ohio State is Scott, with the graduation of Aaron Kraft. He's in the D-League now in Golden State's system. That's the 3 for Shannon Scott. And Ohio State, on the first bucket of the night for Shannon Scott, is within 15.
Open jump shots, the higher makes.
Good hands by Amir Williams. He knocked down the pass from Harrell, who's trying to jam it underneath. A bucket right here to give Ohio State momentum for the first time tonight. Nice pass by Scott into Amir Williams for the dunk, and Rick Pitino wants a timeout.
I like it. I like it. Ohio State has penetrated. They've broke the three-point line in the last couple of possessions, and good things happen. That's a tough pass to try to float that over a 7-footer, knowing there's help side defense on the weak side, but a great finish by Country Day alumnus Amir Williams.
That's Detroit Country Day. Amir told us earlier today he's the best player ever to come out of Detroit Country Day.
Well, that's up for debate. There's a guy named Chris Webber.
Shane Battier.
Well, he wasn't very good. He wasn't very good. think Amir's a lot better than I was in high school.
Come on. 6-0 run for the Buckeyes. Again within 13. Largest lead for Louisville was 19 in the first half. Louisville's won 30 in a row here at home against non-conference opponents. That's the 8th longest such streak in the country that's active. Chris Jones fouled. Shannon Scott called for his first.
Hey, for Ohio State, let's say, you know, let's get it to 10. You cut the lead to single digits. All of a sudden, Louisville feels a little bit more pressure. So the goal for Ohio State is get this into single digits.
And Rozier helped sell the call, snapping his head back. You can see D'Angelo Russell saying to Brian Dorsey, come on, you're not falling for that acting job.
Brian Dorsey wouldn't fall for that, would he? He is a respectable ref. One of the best.
Really?
One of the best.
Did you feel that way when you played?
There wasn't a ref I didn't love.
Well, you and Billis actually have nothing in common.
Billis taught me everything he knows. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. He gave me a secret notebook for tonight.
4 fouls now on D'Angelo Russell, so after he got called, when Rozier's head snapped back, that was his 3rd. Thad Matta left him in. And a tough homecoming so far. Greg Paulus, himself a fine guard, college basketball at Duke. With a word of advice for Russell on his way to the bench.
It's not always the easiest thing to come home and play. You want to play so well in front of all your friends and family. Sometimes you get outside yourself.
Jones got his own rebound off the missed 3, then lost it. Shannon Scott to the bucket, a big miss. Chance to get it to 11 if that had dropped. You think of the scoring defense being put up by Louisville in the last 2 games. Last Monday, they gave up 26 to Savannah State, and Wednesday, 33 in their win against Cleveland State. That's 59 points total for the opponents in their last 2. And another missed opportunity for Ohio State to get it down to 11 with a miss at the rim.
Well, every shot is contested. And that's what you have to love about the Cardinal defense. There's no free passes, no free looks.
Saw the graphic, fewest points allowed back-to-back games for Louisville since 1937. Might be a dislocated finger for Rozier. We'll take him into time. And the 2nd-ranked Wisconsin Badgers. A lot of these NBA personnel people who are here at the Yum Center tonight will be watching those games, many of them in person.
My old boss, Daryl Morey, in the house. One of the smartest men in the NBA.
Who's that?
Daryl Morey, GM of the Houston Rockets. Playing pretty well. But he has nothing on the GM of the Phoenix Suns.
That's correct.
Nothing.
Ryan McDonough.
Outstanding family.
Thank you, Shane. You're the one who thinks so. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock. And Jones's shot was deflected, and then a foul called on Chris Jones. His 2nd personal. 5 minutes into the 2nd half. Palpable anxiety here at the Yum Center. Looked like Louisville just going to blow Ohio State out of the building. And now the Buckeyes threatening to make a game of it. The 5 Ohio State wins prior to tonight against UMass Lowell, a newcomer to Division I basketball, Marquette, Sacred Heart, Campbell, and James Madison. So tonight a big step up in competition for the Buckeyes. Louisville's best win was against Minnesota. That was a neutral site game in Puerto Rico, the Armed Forces Classic. Patino against Patino. Yet another opportunity to get it under 13. Goes by the boards for Ohio State. And Harrell fouled. The other Louisville wins, Jacksonville State, Marshall. And as we mentioned, the 2 games against Savannah State, when Rick Pitino did everything he could not to make it really embarrassing and just couldn't help it. And Cleveland State in an ugly game here last week. Louisville won 45-33. The foul on Amir Williams, his 3rd. Harrell at the line. Shane Harrell said he really went back and forth about whether to come out into the draft his past NBA draft, so I think most people assume this will be it after his junior year. What are your impressions of him, having watched him in person tonight?
Well, physically, he could play right now. He has an NBA body. I give him a lot of credit. A lot of guys just want to get in the NBA, but what young players don't understand is it's not about getting in the NBA. It's about staying in the NBA. And you better have a game, Jack, as my old coach Hugh Brown used to say. So that's what Montrezl Harrell is concentrating. When he gets to the next level, having a game that will allow him to play for 10, 12, 13 years.
Long three wouldn't go for Shannon Scott. Out of bounds. It'll be Ohio State ball with the full shot clock.
Ohio State is not a great offensive rebounding team, but they're sending multiple guys to the basket the second half, and it's working out for them, creating extra possessions.
And the officials calling it very tightly all of a sudden. Blackshear called for the foul. Hand check the indication given by Carl Hess. First foul on Blackshear.
Ohio State is much more aggressive the second half, trying to get into the paint, trying to create something, force the action, make Louisville make a play, make them block a shot, make them make a play on defense.
It just looked in the first half that Ohio State might not have the quickness to get past the Louisville perimeter people on this Cardinal defense. Tate gets into the lane, missed another shorty. They just can't make a shot with some good opportunities. Held ball, and it'll go back to Ohio State.
I like it. They're fighting. They're fighting. They're scrapping now. They're in the fight. To beat a top 10 team, you have to get your nose a little dirty. You stick it in there.
Lob too high for Thompson. And it leads to a 3-on-1 break. Jones will go to the line for two.
Nice idea on the other end. Poor execution.
Jayshawn Tate called for the foul, his second. 5 on the Buckeyes here in the second half. Chris Jones, the free throw shooter, in his second year at Louisville after 2 at Northwest Florida Junior College, where he was the National Junior College Player of the Year. And some very good teams. They went 62-6 in junior college, his 2 years there. Steve DeMayo has kept that program winning.
Louisville comes into this game shooting under 60% from the charity stripe. That has to be a concern for Coach Pitino.
Yeah, he said, even though we're 5-0, we played good defense. Our offensive numbers concern me. They lost Russ Smith, leading scorer, 18 points per game. He's an All-American. Their best perimeter threat last year was Luke Hancock. He counted on to knock down threes consistently. He scored 12 points per game. Blackshear fouled by Jayshawn Tate. And we asked Rick Pitino before the game, well, do you think these guys that you have now are capable of shooting better than they have to this point? And he said, I do, because I think we'll pass the ball better to lead to better shots and fewer contested shots.
Well, when you penetrate like they have in this game and get into the paint, collapse the defense, you leave the shooters much more open, and open shots equal good shots.
Blackshear, another three. 19 for Wayne Blackshear, his first bucket of the second half.
He's feeling it. He's feeling it. Get him the rock.
Tate, strong drive, didn't finish. Thompson swooped to the offensive glass. Tate tried to bull his way in there. Crowd thought he traveled or was guilty of an offensive foul. They didn't get either whistle. They thought Ohio State's offense couldn't be worse in the second half, but they're 2 for 11 from the floor. And a foul called as Mahmoud pulled it away. Chris Jones called for his third foul. I think the fans groaned because it was kind of a late whistle. The ball was already long gone into the hands of Mahmoud when the whistle finally blew. Thompson missed the free throw. The foul shooting hasn't been stellar either. 5 out of 11 from the line.
Nothing grabs a coach battier when you're struggling to score and missing free throws.
Oh, he missed both. Good rebound by Lee. The Louisville players underneath went up a little bit early. That ball hit the back rim, went way up in the air. Harrell wound up with it. And now Snyder got the call from Coach Pitino. Snyder, Rozier, Harrell. Now Blackshear underneath on a walking foul.
That is how you attack the zone. You find the soft spot right in the middle of the zone. If it's open, you usually put a playmaker right there, and they can make the correct decision. Blackshear is a great pass down low, a little high-low action. Tough to guard in the zone. Tough to guard.
Loving called for his third foul. Pretty clear shove into the back of Onuaku, and he still turned around as if to say, really? Foul's on me? Onuaku missed the first free throw. His brother Arinzi struggled from the line at Syracuse. Back in the spring, Onuaku, in the words of Rick Pitino, is not a very impressive physical specimen. He's worked very hard the last few months to shed some body fat, add some muscle. And he's a different person than he was just a few months ago.
Let's see if Louisville goes after D'Angelo Russell on the other end. Try to make him pick up his fifth foul.
He's in there with 4 and a 3 for Mark Loving. 6 points for the sophomore. Second leading scorer for the year for Ohio State, averaging 12 points per game. Jalen Johnson back on the floor for Louisville, number 10, 6'9" freshman forward, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Tough floater by Blackshear. And I believe an Ohio State foul. There was an Ohio State foul, which we'll chronicle after this media timeout. The basketball successes perhaps don't get as much attention as they deserved. And Rick said, I bet if you asked any fan around the country, what's been the winningest team in the last 11 years in the Big Ten, people would guess Michigan State or Wisconsin, but it's been Thad Matta's Ohio State program. Won 9 Big Ten titles in 11 years between regular season titles and tournament titles. Held ball. And Allison, earlier in his career, Thad Matta thought he wanted to be Rick Pitino.
Yes, exactly. In the early 90s, he was director of basketball operations at Butler. He wanted to coach, so he looked around college basketball and realized that Rick Pitino was the hottest coach in college hoops. At the time, Pitino was building Kentucky. So Thad Matta put together a flow chart of how he was going to get to Pitino. Now, Herb Sendick, who was a Pitino assistant, took the coaching job at Miami of Ohio. And a year later, Matta was working for him. He didn't end up getting to Pitino that route, but over the next 2 decades, as you guys just mentioned, he's worked his way into becoming one of the most successful coaches in a college basketball.
Learned a lot of the Pitino way from Herb Sendick, one of many Pitino assistants. 27 of them have gone on to be head coaches, and many of them with great success.
Ohio State's going to be in the mix. They're going to be in the mix in the Big Ten. They're young as their freshmen come along, and as D'Angelo Russell learns the game. They're so well coached. They play hard. They play smart. They're going to be in the mix in the Big Ten.
Mahmoud called for his second foul. We're going to see a lot of free throws the rest of the way. Ohio State's already over the limit, and that was the 5th foul of the half against Louisville. Still more than half of the second half to be played. Mahmoud.
Russell will learn. You're going to challenge shot blockers, better go right at their chest.
I'm not sure they knew that Mahmoud was a shot blocker before tonight. He hadn't played very much. Rick Pitino wanted to play Mott Stockman, another 7-foot freshman who's bulkier, 240 pounds. Tonight, he said Stockman's really been coming on lately in practice, but he hurt his neck in their shoot-around today and probably is not available to Coach Pitino. That meant more minutes for Mahmoud, and he's taking advantage of them. It also helps Mahmoud that Mango Mathiang, who's playing on a sore ankle. Rick really didn't want to play him tonight either. Mathiang did not play in their last game against Cleveland State because of that sprained ankle. 8 points now for Mark Loving. And Ohio State back within 13. Louisville scored only 7 points in this half. Blackshear short with it. Numbers on the break for the Bucks. Russell smooth to the goal with the left hand.
That's a talented finish. Talented finish. Rick Pitino.
7 for D'Angelo Russell. Pitino's called timeout. Russell had a 32-point game earlier this year against Sacred Heart, second most ever by a freshman.
This is why he's so articulating to NBA scouts. A finish like that is not something you teach. You have it or you don't. D'Angelo Russell has it.
Only Jared Sullinger scored more points in a game than Russell's 32 as a freshman for Ohio State. Sullinger scored 40 in a game his freshman year. Russell, as we mentioned, from Louisville, but 3 years of high school at Montford Academy in Florida. He has not been here much. One of the most highly recruited players in the country and a McDonald's All-American, the 18th to play for Ohio State. We asked Rick Pitino, he's from Louisville, did you recruit him? He said, yes, we did. He asked me, am I going to start as a freshman? He said, probably not with some of the guys we have in front of you, including Rozier. And Russell said, well, I want to start. So that was at least one of the reasons why.
Well, it's a great game for him. It's a great measuring stick. After 5 games, he's one of 4 players averaging 18, 4, and 5. He's got a bunch of newspaper articles written about him. Things aren't going his way right now. Let's see how he reacts. It's a little adversity at this point. It's good for him.
Looks like he's starting to settle in, as is his team. Chance to get it under double figures, and a quick 3 that wouldn't drop for the freshman Russell. And then an Ohio State foul on the follow-up action. The first on Anthony Lee, 6'9" graduate student out of Columbia, Maryland, by way of Temple University, where he earned a degree in media production management. Another guy who wants to tell us what to do.
He's a sharp cookie. He said he wants to get into broadcasting. He said, how'd I get the job? I said, you know what? I look good in a suit.
Well, if he was,
that's my #1 attribute. So you start there, and you figure out the rest as you go, right?
If he was really that sharp a cookie, he'd be finding a more important undertaking. Mahmoud made the free throw. His first point. He's been active on the glass with 7 rebounds. Nice rotation on the free throws.
Yeah, he's got good form. Good touch. Good touch. You don't see that out of 7-footers too often.
And an important trip to the line for Louisville, with Ohio State creeping closer. Haven't been able to attack with the pressure in the half because they haven't been scoring like they did in the first half. Rozier took it away, but then it went off his leg and out of bounds.
That's called a back tap for the uninitiated. If you beat off the dribble in Rick Pitino's press, you're taught to chase down the ball handler and try to tap it to your man in front of you. Makes it really tough on the offensive ball handler.
And if you play Louisville, you should be aware of that at all times, because they've been great at it in recent years. Guards like Peyton Siva in particular come to mind. Tough shot by Loving, and he got it to go. 10 for Mark Loving. Well, he's been in double figures in 5 of their first 6 games of the season. He had 18, a career high in their win against Campbell.
Ohio State will not go away and making this crowd a little uneasy. They'd feel a lot better if this lead were 16, 17 points.
which it can be in the blink of an eye. Louisville, one of the great spurt teams in college basketball under Rick Pitino. Shot clock's at 5. Blackshear, strong move to the goal, and he got fouled by Lee, who didn't think so. It wasn't much contact, but the officials have called it very tightly here in the second half. Wow.
He was just a step late. Probably could have taken the charge. Blackshear was a little out of control as he took off there. So I didn't take very many charges in my day at Duke, so I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They were all clean. They were all clean, too. All legitimate charges, Sean.
No
Despite
doubt.
public opinion, all legitimate. Every last one of them.
You're saying some people thought you were a flopper?
There was a small minority out there
I'm not aware
who
of that.
still believes that.
Lee, the foul, his second. 10 team fouls on Ohio State, so it'll be 2 the rest of the half at the line for Louisville.
7-14. Excuse me. 10 for 18 from the line for Louisville.
Loving a 3, his second of the night. And the lead down to single digits. Once up by 19. Louisville leads by 9 with a long way to go here at the Yum Center. Or as we like to call it, the KFC Yum Exclamation Point Center, since the exclamation point is included. Blackshear a miss. Mahmoud couldn't corral it. Thompson fouled by Rozier. Both teams are over the limit with 7:35 to go.
Well, it's always more difficult to play against a set defense. If Ohio State could make a few more shots, they can set their defense. If that Mata can't be upset about Ohio State's defense. They're holding Louisville to 31% shooting on the game, and it's keeping them in the game. If they made some more free throws, a couple more threes, this is a tight one.
They've had chances to get closer. Thompson, part of the problem at the line, now 3 out of 8. As a team, they're just 8 out of 16 from the line. Both teams undefeated. That will not be the case when this one is over in 7.5 minutes, barring overtime. Sean McDonough, Shane Battier, Allison Williams along the sidelines. Chris Jones, a lot of standing around, and the ball staying well on the perimeter of this defense. Jones, the 3 pops out, and a foul on the rebounding action. Harrell hit the deck hard, and it's an Ohio State foul. Mark Loving was just fouled out. 4 top 20 teams headline the SEC Big 12 doubleheader beginning Friday at 7. Texas and Kentucky, then Florida, and number 11 Kansas. And Kentucky's just played ridiculously good defense with that 2-platoon system, giving up 44 points and change per game and holding their opponents to 28% from the floor.
Well, Kentucky's defense is tough. It's tough to score against. As a perimeter defender, you have amazing confidence when you have 4 or 5 7-footers behind you in the back line. You can apply amazing pressure, not worried about getting beat. And then those shot blockers play volleyball at the rim. They're going to be a tough team to take down this year.
2-shot opportunity for Harrell with Ohio State already in the double bonus. 10 points for Montrez. Loving out of the game with 13 points. He was a key to their rally here in the second half.
Harrell can knock down his 3 throws this year with his aggressiveness on the offensive board and in transition. He's going to put up some huge numbers. He's shooting a lot better than last year. Last year was an adventure every time he went to the line. This year, it's like he has an idea what's going on.
Russell floater from the elbow, way up to get it. Wayne Blackshear. Boy, if you're a Buckeye fan, you have to appreciate that they're coming back, but they've had a lot of opportunities to make it much tighter. Haven't always taken a good shot.
Now Louisville has gotten into the trap of just going east and west. They need to attack the paint and kick out just like that play right there.
Rozier did, found Chris Jones. A huge three. Cam Williams behind the defense, fouled after the shot. And a chance for a 4-point play for the redshirt freshman Cam Williams. Harrell called for the foul. Rick Pitino out to half court, trying to get the officials' attention about something.
That is a pretty good sell job.
Yeah.
Pretty good sell job, which as a shooter, hey, you take them any way you can get them. There's a little embellishment, you take that too.
And concern for Louisville, because that's the 4th foul on Montrezl Harrell, their best player. Apparently they're checking to make sure that it was a 3. It was well behind the line. So now Cam Williams, just his 2nd free throw attempt of the year. He's 0 for 1. He's now 1 for 2. Redshirt freshman from Baltimore out of Mount St. Joseph. He scored more than 2,000 points in high school in just 3 years. So foul trouble on both sides. The officials called a lot of fouls here in the second half. Harrell has 12. Loving already out. Russell's been playing for a while with 4 fouls. He's their leading scorer. Loving their 2nd leading scorer for the year. Crowd trying to get back into it. Russell, beautiful moves. Wow.
Took on a few shot blockers there. Finished with the nice touch.
9 points for Harrell. Excuse me, for Russell. Scouts were looking forward to watching him play against this type of competition. After a rough start, he's gotten a lot better. Oh, Sam Thompson, a great block. And Mathiang still down after his shot was blocked by Thompson. The play continues. Williams missed a wide open 3. 5 on 4. Tate had it blocked out of bounds. And now Mathiang, who did not play in their last game because of a sprained ankle, limps up the court. And Rick Pitino is going to take him out.
Nice move, get into the paint, finish over a shot blocker. That's a 10-cent move and a $1 finish.
So 2 big men who played very little this season in the ball game for Louisville now. Jalen Johnson and Anas Mahmoud, both freshmen. They're in there at crunch time with the lead down to 8. Russell again a little bit long, got his own rebound. It is a 6-point game with 4:41 to go.
Freshman starting to feel it. Had a tough first half, but he is starting to put together some nice moves. And the key is he is getting into the painted area. Great things have happened for Ohio State all game when they attack the paint. When they're forced to stay on the perimeter, bad things happen. Sometimes the game's that simple. Big key for Louisville and Ohio State were the boards. Second half, Ohio State's doing a much better job of controlling both the offense and defensive boards, keeping them in the game. Let's see if Louisville can start to block out a little bit more and control their end of the boards.
Harrell on the bench. with those 4 fouls. It'll be interesting to see when Rick Pitino puts them back in. Pressure in the backcourt. Russell has to be careful, though, playing with the 4 fouls.
Last 4 minutes of the game, there should not be a shot taken unless the ball touches the paint first.
So it doesn't, and Jones misses. And a nice rebound in traffic by Thompson, and then a foul. Those 2 inexperienced freshman big men have been deep bench players so far. Johnson and Mahmoud both went after it.
As a defender, I love, capital L, when the offensive team takes a dribble jump shot outside the paint. It's the lowest percentage shot in the game, the toughest to make. And unless your name is Nowitzki or Durant, high likelihood you're going to miss it.
And Rick's going to put Harrell back in right now. Jalen Johnson called for his first foul. It's the 9th against Louisville, so this will be the last 1-1. And Sam Thompson's had a rough night at the line. It's the closest that they have been since it was 10-5 with 14-19 remaining in the first half. 4:19 remaining in the second half. 1 out of 2. Rebound on Owaku. So he's another starter back in the game with foul trouble. In fact, the starting 5 is out there intact now for Rick Pitino as we approach 4 minutes to go.
This is where you learn about your team. 2 good teams, big stage. Who's going to make plays when the pressure is the highest late in the second half?
Without Russ Smith and Luke Hancock this year, do they have a reliable go-to scorer in these situations? The U of L. Rozier. That's a 3. Only 5 points for Terry, who averages 13.5 per game.
Stepped into that one, shot it like he meant it.
Little breathing room for Louisville. Nice pass by Russell. And Amir Williams fouled. Terry Rozier called for shoving him in the back. Second personal on Rozier. Both teams in the double bonus. Big 3 by Rozier to push the lead back to 8.
Dad,
what a surprise.
this is my new boyfriend, Mark, I was telling you about.
Nice to meet you.
Amir Williams makes the first of 2 free throws. 4 points now for Amir. And the second climbs off, but Jayshawn Tate snuck inside. Under 3.5 to go. Russell, another great move at the elbow. He went right by Owaku. Doesn't have the quickness to defend that.
The body language for the Ohio State Buckeyes totally different than the first half. First half, they were feeling sorry for themselves. Now, a little pep in their step. They think they can win this game still.
When we talk about the coaches saying we'll learn a lot more about our teams tonight, even if Ohio State doesn't pull off this comeback. Tough bucket by Rozier. Took a hit to the body without a whistle and scored. I think Ohio State, regardless of the outcome now, Shane, will feel a lot better about themselves because they didn't play well at all and looked rattled for a lot of that first half. And now against a quality opponent in a very hostile place, they've made a game of it.
Here they are.
Russell, oh, a tough break for them. A 3 rattled out. That should be Ohio State ball. Went off the head of Harrell and out of bounds. It is.
I like D'Angelo Russell because this moment is not too big for him. A lot of freshmen come in here, get a little intimidated. Hey, he's not shooting a great percentage, but his feeling.
Friends and family, including his dad, Antonio. Decked out in the Ohio State sweatshirt. Huge possession, 7-point game. Tough pass, they got it into Thompson. Russell fouled by Mahmoud. Put 2 hands on the driver. They're going to call that every time. I bet they're going to call everything every time in this second half.
First half, D'Angelo Russell settled for a lot of long jumpers. He has done a much better job of putting his head down, trying to get to the rack, putting pressure on the Louisville defense.
I think the impressive thing to me as he makes the first free throw The scouts before the game talked about they like the poise, the pace at which he plays. They were curious to see if Louisville would speed him up and rattle him a little bit, and perhaps that happened briefly in the first half. But I think he has started to settle in, and you just see the control with which he handles the ball.
Yeah, you can't teach that. And you can tell by some of the special moves he's made. He's a player. He's a player. And he is going to be the main driver of the Buckeyes this year once they get in the Big Ten play.
Now can Ohio State get a big stop?
I want to see Blackshear get a little more aggressive. He's got the hot hand. He's been in the corners waiting for that ball to go. Sometimes you have to go take it.
Boy, they've gotten reliant on the three here late in the game, and they've been a horrible three-point shooting team this season. 24%. Harrell the ball in the corner. Rick Pitino uses the timeout, and that's the last look out of the 345 teams.
And then done a pretty good job of taking care of the ball here in the second half. First half, a ton of turnovers, but only 12 for the game right now against a very pressure-oriented Louisville team. Not bad, not bad.
Mahmoud, tough pass, deflected out of bounds by Thompson. So the freshman Mahmoud in there at crunch time with Harrell and Blackshear, Jones and Rozier.
That's what a zone does. A zone stands you up. A zone makes you less aggressive. And in actuality, you should run your man offense against a zone. It should work whether it's man or zone.
And again here, Shane, everything outside the three-point arc. The ball hasn't moved inside it. Down to 5 seconds. We're Blackshear and Harrell. Jones got called for a travel. Tried to come to a jump stop and shuffled his feet.
I like when teams attack earlier in the shot clock, get into the paint, and make the defense really react to them.
And it totally got away from Blackshear and Harrell here at the end of the game. Can Ohio State pull it off? Down by 19 in the first half. Chance to get closer than they have been at any point in the second half. Russell was fouled, and it wouldn't drop. Mahmoud hit him on the arm.
For yourself. But again, in the words of our good friend Bill Raftery, onions, this kid has them.
Is there a foul here? I didn't see anybody touch it. Did you?
Not really.
They gave the foul on Jones. Mahmoud certainly didn't hit him. Might have been Jones on the floor as Russell started on his way up. One possession game with 1 minute to go.
And who takes the shot for Louisville? That's something Coach Pitino's trying to find out as he learns about this team.
Will Harrell or Blackshear get a touch anywhere near the basket? They settle for another three. And that's not settling when you make it. Rozier. Rick Pitino doesn't care about the numbers. 24% for the year from beyond the arc. A huge three at crunch time. Tate, tough shot, followed by Amir Williams. Timeout, Ohio State. Leaving them with one, the only timeout. Their free throw shooting's been abysmal too this year, where they had a chance to foul Mahmoud. And even after the ball was long gone, Ohio State went after him and fouled him. Carl Hess called it. So Mahmoud's going to go to the free throw line. Sam Thompson called for a second. Both teams have been in the double bonus since yesterday. So here's Mahmoud.
Now this is a situation you try to simulate in practice every day, but nothing is like shooting free throws at the end of a game in front of 20,000 people. Everyone's looking at you.
He's made 2 for 2 tonight. He was 0 for 1 coming in. This is the 4th free throw of his career. Wow. Wow, a rock that looked like it might just sit on the back rim and stop.
I don't think he could do that if he tried again.
No. I mean, this was ugly, but effective.
Hey, in the box score, free throw made. It's all that matters.
That one's long, and it went right over Cam Williams. Harrell wasn't even really going after that rebound, but Williams didn't rebound the miss, and it wound up with Harrell. So now Harrell with a double-double tonight. 12 and 10. His other double-double was in their last game against Cleveland State when he had 15 and 13 and 3 blocks. Tonight is his 14th career double-double early in his junior year.
If you're Ohio State, you don't need a quick three, you need a quick basket. Try to get something off the bounce at the rim.
Wow, that popped out. Oh, and Carl Hess has called a lane violation on Cam Williams.
They still call those?
Well, starts in too soon. Good call.
Set your defense and make Louisville make free throws.
Harrell 2 out of 7 from the free throw line. Six-point game. Russell. Thompson, 20 seconds to go. And the steal. They try to get it back to Russell. 2 for Rozier. The foul on Thompson is third.
And with the defense that Louisville plays, they're going to be in every game. They're going to be in every single game that they play, no matter who they play against, because they make other teams work for every basket. And I think the shooting will come around. Usually does once holidays roll around.
Ooh, here Williams nearly traveled after grabbing that rebound. Russell. Then traveling called on Rozier. He does it. And playing the Dukes and Carolinas of the world. Blackshear a steal, and then he's fouled. Putting the finishing touches on a nice night. 21 points, just 2 below his career high.
If we get this sort of production out of him during the regular season in the ACC, they're going to be really tough to beat. We know about their guards. Their guards had a poor shooting night, but they can make shots. Blackshear has always been the question mark. If he can play like this, pretty good.
31 straight non-conference home wins for Rick Pitino in Louisville. And it was a challenge against a game Ohio State team that rallied from 19 down to make it a game. The ACC has its second win now. Big Ten with 6, 8 wins, clinches the challenge. Sports Center coming up next. Now for Allison Williams, Shane Batty.